Okay, I will start. Good afternoon. I see many familiar faces, but nevertheless I will present myself briefly. My name is Kathleen Maas. Luider? Ja?
Kom wat dichter. Dat kan ook.
Ja, kom
zo niet wel de microfoon.
Oké, dankjewel.
Gebruik dan de microfoon.
Okay, my name is Kathleen Maas. I'm working for the department Ruimte Vlaanderen as a relationship manager for the city of Antwerp and the surrounding communities. And today I present with Mieke the city regional collaboration, the demographic challenge. First, I will briefly explain what is a strategic project. This is a project that receives funding from the Flemish government for the wages and the running costs for the project manager, for Mieke, during a period of 3 years. And it implements the vision of the RSV, Ruimtelijk Structuurplan Vlaanderen, which is a kind of foundation for spatial planning on a Flemish level. This project wants to improve spatial quality, and it is an inspiring project. So in October 2015, the city of Antwerp has the approval for this funding from the Flemish government, and this project officially started. Now, the title is Demographic Challenge, and this map shows the absolute population growth or decline by 2030 compared to 2008. And you see in the city of Antwerp is colored deep blue, and this means a very strong population growth by approximately 100,000 additional inhabitants by 2030, which stands for approximately 30,000 additional residential units. The surrounding communities, which are colored in yellow, they have a population decline by 2030. And those who are colored in green, they have a very slight population growth or a status quo. So only the city of Antwerp is really growing very strongly. Now, in order to receive this funding from the Flemish government for the project, it was necessary that not only the city of Antwerp would participate, but also the surrounding communities, because of course spatial development ignore city boundaries. So the region has to solve this problem or this challenge together. And the city of Antwerp has invited all the communities in the gray color. These are in total 14 local governments who participate together with our department, with the province of Antwerp, and as the project progresses, other authorities can join, like AWV, Agentschap Wegen en Verkeer. This is the authority on the Flemish level for mobility. Okay, now why only these communities in the southeastern border and not those in the north of Antwerp? Because of the similar physiological and morphological structure of these villages together with the city of Antwerp. They have the same degree of urbanization and the same dense network of infrastructures, more than the communities in the north of Antwerp. Also, those participating communities are situated in the red line, which marks the metropolitan area of Antwerp, like it is defined by the Flemish government in RSV, Ruimtelijk Structuurplan Vlaanderen. Now, there are not only spatial challenges in this project, but I'll name a few of the other challenges Mieke has to cope with. For example, the big difference between the scale of the city of Antwerp comparing to the surrounding communities. Antwerp has 520,000 inhabitants, while the villages between 8,000 and 25,000. And this scale is also reflected in the number of civil servants that can participate in this project. So the communities have lack of time to participate, and this leads to frustration sometimes. A second challenge is a kind of distrust between the city and the communities. Distrust because of the villagers' fear that the city of Antwerp wants to dominate this project and wants to set the agenda. And the city of Antwerp fears to lose its power by the means of its influence on a higher political level. Then a third challenge is that the surrounding communities present themselves as almost rural communities instead of communities who are located in a metropolitan area. So there is a clash with the city. They present themselves as little villages. For example, the image of Niel. You cannot imagine that Niel is situated in a metropolitan area if you see this picture. And in every discussion, you feel this underlying identity that they claim to themselves. And then a last challenge is that the term of densification, the politicians of the surrounding communities don't like the idea of densification because they have a negative connotation. They fear that it means, or it stands for impersonal big apartment buildings. So it is our challenge to tackle this prejudice. So far the prehistory, and now Mieke will tell you more about the project and how she copes with all those challenges.
Mieke Belmans, the coordinator of the project, and I work in the city of Antwerp, but I work actually for all the 14 partners. We have a lot of challenges, like Kathleen told, but the project was approved, so we had to start. Where to start? There is not so much or even no experience in Flanders about city-regional collaboration, so it was a bit an adventure. So I started to ask myself a few questions. The topic is smart densification. What does it mean? Does it mean the same for all the partners? Maybe it means something else, something different in Antwerp than in the surrounding villages. So this is an important question to ask. I did also some reading in literature about regional collaboration, and a very important remark I got from this reading is that a bottom-up approach is very important to have success in such collaboration. So I kept this in mind, and I started bilateral conversations with the different municipalities and the city of Antwerp to ask the people, what are your expectations of the project, what kind of result you want after 3 years, because the project runs for 3 years. After these conversations bilateral, I gathered the whole group of urban planners of the different municipalities together around the table, and we discussed all together about the expectations of the project. But there again, another challenge. In Antwerp, we are with a lot of people working on policy and instruments and all kind of stuff. But in these municipalities, there is mainly just one person who's dealing with urban planning. So they have a lot of things to do, things to cope with. So another meeting, another project. That's you have to. It has to be interesting and attractive to get people together. And so for the first meeting, I learned make it attractive and fun. So we looked for an interesting place or an attractive place, and we came up to the London Tower in the city of Antwerp. It's a very high building where you have a very nice overview on the top of the building over the city of Antwerp and even over the region. So we chose this building, one of the top floors, as the first meeting place for the first meeting with urban planners of the municipalities. Second challenge was that these urban planners, they don't know each other. Some of them does, but not all of them. So to take away the tension, I asked a colleague from the city of Antwerp, who's also a teacher in improvisation skills, to play some games with us, just to get to know each other, to get the names, and to take away the tension. So that was a very nice start of the meeting. After this first meeting, we talked about our expectations and the intentions of the project, and then I gathered it in an ambition report, where we could go with this report to, we organized another meeting where we presented this ambition report to the aldermen and the mayors of the different cities and municipalities. We also presented the ambition report to the GECORO's. I brought all the GECORO's together, and the GECORO's is the local advice commission of each municipality. And this is a bit the cycle we do. We first come together with the urban planners of the municipalities. We talk about things. Then we go to the aldermen and the mayors and the GECORO's, and we repeat it every time. Then I want to talk a little bit about our goals. I think we have three main goals. The first one is sharing knowledge. Second one is creating a switch in mind about residential development. So stopping building detached houses, but starting to create housing development in another way. And the third one is creating a common policy on densification with all these 14 partners, and an instrument to implement this policy. The sharing knowledge, we do it on the meetings with the urban planners, but we also do it on the meetings with the aldermen and the mayors. And there, I ask every time a mayor or an alderman to present one project in his or her municipality that he or her thinks that a good example of densification. And on this picture you see the mayor of one of the municipalities talking about a project that's going on in their municipality. And in this way, you create kind of proud of talk. Inspiring, to the other municipalities. A second one is this goal of the collaboration is this switch of minds. And that's the Hecoro's, so the advice commission, they asked for it, like teach us a little bit, inspire us with good examples. And so we did a first meeting where we invited the Flemish building master. He's a very inspiring man, and he came to talk about densification to like 100, 150 people who were there together. And then the last one is creating a common policy on densification and starting to create an instrument to implement this. On this point, we are looking at examples, and we worked with the map that Flanders created. We also looked at an example in Genk. We created already our own maps, you see in the middle, and one of the municipalities of the collaboration is working on his own instrument right now. So we will discuss this instrument also, and then we will try to pick out of all these studies and instruments our own instrument where we can work on, see where we will which places are most important for densification and which places not on this level of the city region. And then a last thing we do in this collaboration is giving support on research by design for smart densification projects to these smaller communities. Because these smaller communities mostly have one urban planner and they lack of time to start designing by themselves for interesting places, and in that case they can ask to the project, to me and my colleagues from the city of Antwerp to help them in this research by design. And that's quick, the most important things we do in the collaboration.